So, Fate Extella came out in Japan a couple of weeks ago, and I proudly said it was the best hack and slash I'd played in a while, since, to me, it felt like the Samurai Warriors games, with none of the attacks feeling sluggish, characters that all felt different, and pretty decent story bits for the most part. I stand by those particular feelings after the many hours I put into the game, as playing some of my favorite servants in this game is pretty awesome, and my personal favorite of the bunch has to be Jeanne d'Arc. Still, there are a few things about the game that I don't like as much, and I'll go ahead and lay those out in the open, along with some other things I enjoy. The first thing that may come to your attention when watching the background video is the large amount of enemies on screen, and the second is that they all look the same. I know that this is actually a point of contention for the Musou series and beat-em-ups in general, but other games actually make attempts to increase enemy variety, while this game just rolls with a great majority of the enemies looking like animated puppets that carry different weapons. That's not to say that there aren't other enemy types, but there being only one real normal enemy model without distinguishing textures, like in Fate Extra, seems really lazy. Aside from the enemy servants, which serve as bosses and sometimes really difficult obstacles, which I'll get to in a second, the other main enemy types are plants and aggressors. So, aggressors act as enemy lieutenants and occupy the red sectors on the battlefield in a manner similar to the base captains from Dynasty Warriors 5. Most aren't very strong and go down in only a single combo, maybe two depending on the difficulty in your level. Some are massive and can take a pounding, but they show up much later in the game. An issue I have is that all of the sector's aggressors won't immediately show up, and you have to mow down the infinitely spawning normal types for them to even appear. In fact, this is the major gameplay loop. Endless slaughter of samey robot puppets leading to some stronger enemies showing up, beat them, take the sector, move on. Plants throw a wrench in that, since they produce endless waves of aggressors should you leave them be. That's all fine and cool, but the game loves plants too damn much, and any red sector left alone for too long produces a plant, increasing the number of aggressors, increasing the amount of time it takes to capture it. While you're handling one sector, another sector's plants can send troops to areas you control and take them. Let this go on, and it can lead to either a really lengthy battle or you losing outright, since the bar at the top of the screen represents not morale, but the ratio of sectors you hold versus the enemy. If the red bar fills up, you lose. You taking a majority of the map, however, unlocks the Regalia Matrix and the boss. And all of the bosses are pretty easy to deal with and offer no surprises. There's nothing to really talk about there. I would like to mention that, alongside the usage of plants and holding back aggressors to pad gameplay time, Fate Extella uses supercharged versions of enemy servants, often to throw you off your game. When they show up, they're usually missions that have you distract them and ultimately remove their power, but there are other times when completing objectives doesn't eliminate that increased strength, and you'll have to fight them outright in order to take the sector they're sitting on, since they count as aggressors. If you don't, you can't get an EX ranking since you didn't clear all the sectors. There's a serious lack of map variety, and the maps themselves are kind of small. I think there's a total of 10 maps in the game, which is paltry compared to other games. I think even Estival Versus and Hyperdimension U have more, but I could be wrong about that. But why is this the case when there are 17 servants? This was a chance to showcase some cool backgrounds combining what we know about those heroes, and nameless, and the grid-based stuff that the Moon Cell is known for. Instead, the best map in the game is Fuyuki City, though I guess that's understandable, considering much of the series takes place there. Still, the only units that tend to move around these maps are the enemy servant lieutenants, and that's only when it serves the plot of the scenario. Otherwise, no one on your team does anything. They also go down really fast when engaged by enemies, depending on the difficulty setting. Yeah, this game can get hard, even on normal, and while all the servants have some pretty hard-hitting attacks, using install skills really helps enhance the strengths your servants have, or cover up weaknesses, like Ryofu's pitiful movement speed. I think there's a greater emphasis on making enemies soak up damage and hit you harder than there is in any improvement in AI, though they do attack more frequently the higher up the difficulty ladder you go. You'll want to grind, either for fun or to simply complete a level you're stuck on, but even then, figuring out which stages to play gets pretty difficult, since Free Battle organizes all the levels by servant only, and not increasing overall difficulty or complexity like in any Koei game ever. But organization by map might not be a good thing since, like I said, there's less than 10 of them. I don't know, depends on how you look at it. In any case, I love the Fate series and make an attempt to digest anything Type Moon puts out. Except Grand Order. Fuck that game. Can't do it. Overall, I'm not really sure how I feel about Fate Extella as a game. When the Muso series, the progenitor of the modern hack and slash, has more varied gameplay, and the Basara series has more imaginative maps and enemy variety, it's hard to keep playing, besides getting a Platinum Trophy, which means nothing in the grand scheme of things. I still like the game and will likely review the Western release, while my friend, the Smartest Moron, will tackle Extra. Check his channel out. But I'm just a tad bit disappointed in what I got. Anyways, if you made it through to the end and you want to see more videos from me, take some time and check out my review of River City Tokyo Rumble. Also, take a bit of time and like or dislike this video and others I've made, and subscribe, click that little bell, and get notified when I make a new one. Until next time, thanks for watching.